A very good morning to all the learned magistrates across Punjab, Haryana, and UT Chandigarh. On 11th of August 2021, a detailed judgment, Jasveer Singh versus State of Punjab, was passed by Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court, duly authored by Honorable the then Justice Arun Kumar Tyagi. With this judgment, Honorable Judge had elaborately considered the practical and procedural aspects with respect to the cases pertaining to the cancellation and untraced reports, taking into stock the pendency of such cases in the courts, problems being faced by the courts along with their remedies. At the foremost, the gravity of the situation in hand is required to be looked into. Now, according to the data so collected as on 1st of January 2021, as if I may share with you, the number of cases pending for investigation for more than 1 year, number of cases in which the cancellation or untraced reports have been prepared but have not been approved by superior police officers as on 1st January 2021, number of cases in which the cancellation or untraced reports have been prepared and have also been approved by the superior police officer but have not been filed before the concerned court as on 1st of January 2021, and number of cases in which the cancellation or untraced reports have been filed but are pending before the concerned courts due to delay in action on the part of the police in serving the court process as on 1/1/2021. The entire figure is here given, and the situation is not very happy one, but a very grim situation. So now with this crux of data in hand and the fundamental issues posed and the question raised, Honorable High Court showed its concern over the sordid state of affair prevailing over the courts and the police agencies across Punjab, Haryana and UT Chandigarh, which warranted Honorable Punjab Haryana High Court to issue certain directions under Section 482 CRPC. Now, after discussing all the relevant issues, detailed guidelines were also passed by Honorable High Court to the police, to the courts, as well as magistrates, to the learned session judges with regard to how such cases are to be dealt, disposed of, as well as monitored. Now, accordingly, this important topic, cancellation and untraced reports, procedural aspects, is being taken up today for this webinar for the sensitization of the present audience. I am Harshali Chaudhary, faculty member, cum additional sessions judge, Chandigarh Judicial Academy, and I shall be taking up the session. Now, after detailing the session, I shall also be taking up the questions as received from the audience. As usual, the chat box is open and the learned officers are free to pose their questions, which shall be answered accordingly. Now, taking up the session further, now it is to be understood that the problem do not commence at the end of the courts, but but by the time the matter reaches before the court with respect to the cancellation or untraced report, much water has flown down under the bridge. Now, beginning with the delay of initiation as well as registration of the FIR, along with its completion after the investigation, filing of cancellation or untraced reports by the police and thereafter disposal by the courts and magistrates, it not only puts a burden on the first informant or the complainant, but also it causes inconvenience to the accused as well as to the third party. But now there arises certain questions, certain material procedural questions which requires our deliberation, and if we can see, they can be categorized into 3 phases. So now the entire presentation would be made in these 3 phases. Now in the first phase, we shall be dealing with the aspects concerning arising out of registration of FIR till the completion of investigation. In the phase 2, we shall be dealing with the issues pertaining to the powers and duty of the police during the course of investigation. And in phase 3, powers of the courts in adjudication, disposal of cancellation and untraced reports, including their consignment, will be discussed. Now, before dealing with these aspects, it would be apt to refer to which are important for the purpose of for the untraced as well as cancellation reports. So, as we know, under Chapter 12 of CRPC, Section 154 CRPC deals with the information in cognizable offences as to how such information is to be dealt. Section 155 CRPC deals with information as to non-cognizable cases and the investigation of such cases. Section 156 CRPC deals with police officers' power to investigate cognizable case. Section 157 CRPC lays down the entire procedure of investigation with respect to cognizable cases. Section 169 CRPC deals with release of accused when the evidence is deficient. Section 170 CRPC deals with cases to be sent to magistrate when evidence is sufficient. And finally, Section 173 CRPC, which provides for the report of police officer on completion of investigation. Now, under this section only, we have three kind of reports. First is Challan, another is cancellation report, which we also know as a Kharaj report, and the third one is the untraced report. Now, beginning with the first phase, that is from registration of FIR till the completion of investigation, the foremost question that the first informant or the complainant has in his mind is that whether he has any right, any fundamental right to access of justice. Now, we are using here the word complainant and the victim. Now, the word complainant has nowhere defined under CRPC, but complaint is defined under section 2 small d CRPC, and it says that complaint means any allegation made orally or in writing to a magistrate with a view to his taking action under this code, and that some whether known or unknown has committed an offence, but it does not include a police report. And the definition victim, it has been added with the Amendment Act of 2009 as Section 2 WA CRPC, which means that a person who has suffered any loss or injury caused by the reason or the act or omission for which the accused person has been charged, and the victim also includes his or her guardian or legal heirs. Now, in the case of Imtiaz Ahmed versus State of UP, Honorable Supreme Court has held that right to access of justice is a guaranteed fundamental right under Article 21, and victim or his kith or kin have a legitimate expectation that the state will apprehend, prosecute, and punish the guilty through the instrumentalities of the administration of justice. Now, once we have established that the victim or the complainant has got the right to access to justice, another question is, when he has such a right intact, that whether officer in charge of the police station is bound to register FIR on receipt of oral or written information in respect of any cognizable offence. Now, FIR, as we also know as first information report. Now, with the FIR, we know that criminal law is set into motion. The term cognizable offence has been defined under Section 2C CRPC, which means an offence for which, and a cognizable case means a case in which a police officer may, in accordance with the first schedule or under any other law for the time being in force, arrest without warrant. Now, under Section 154 CRPC, the entire procedure has been laid down as to how the information, if it is received in writing or in orally, how it is to be recorded by the officer in charge of the police station. Section 154 subsection 2 provides that where the such information is reduced into writing by the officer in charge of the police station, the copy of that information, that is the copy of that FIR, is to be supplied to the first informant free of cost, while Section 154 subsection 3 CRPC gives the remedy to the complainant as to where the officer in charge does not record the information so provided by the complainant with regard to the cognizable case, then he can approach the superior police officers with his grievance. Now, in the case of Lalita Kumari versus Government of UP, Honorable Supreme Court has categorically held that it is a mandate upon the officer in charge of the police station to register an FIR in case of cognizable offence, and in the absence of non-registration of FIR, action must be taken against the erring official. Honorable Supreme Court had also held that in case the information does not disclose the cognizable offence, preliminary inquiry is required to be conducted. Now, the scope of the preliminary inquiry to be conducted by the officer in charge of the police station is not to test the veracity of the allegations leveled by the complainant, but it is only to see whether a cognizable case is made out or not. Now, what are the categories under which the preliminary inquiry can be conducted? That also have been described by Honorable Supreme Court, which includes matrimonial disputes, family matters, commercial offences, medical negligence cases, corruption cases, and delay in reporting the matter where the delay is more than 3 months and no due explanation has been given by the complainant. Honorable Supreme Court had also laid down a time limit for conducting that preliminary inquiry, which should not exceed 15 days and maximum 6 weeks in exceptional cases. Now, where the officer in charge takes more than 15 days in conducting the preliminary inquiry, he has to make the detailed entry, detailed reason in its general diary as to why the time is being taken up for conducting the preliminary inquiry. Now, it would not be out of place to mention here that it is under section 156 subsection 3 CRPC also that on the direction of the magistrate, the FIR can be lodged. The FIR is to be lodged by the officer in charge of the police station, provided that the conditions as laid down in the case of Priyanka Srivastav are fulfilled. Now, let's say that once the FIR has been registered, there was a cognizable case and the FIR has been registered. Now, what is the next step? The next step, and whatever the next step would be, will give the next question. And the next question is that is there any duty of police to take prompt action for expeditious investigation of cases? Now, the procedure with regard to the conducting of investigation, it has been laid out under section 157 CRPC. Now, if we read section 157 CRPC, we can find that it can be broadly categorized vis-a-vis the duty of the police agency, the role of the magistrate, and the right of the complainant or the first informant. Now, coming to the duty of the police with regard to the investigation of such cases, now it has been laid down under section 157 that in case of information received with regard to the commission of cognizable offence, it is a statutory obligation on the part of the officer in charge of the police station to send a report to the magistrate empowered to take cognizance of such offence upon a police report under section 157 CRPC. So the report that the officer in charge is required to send to the magistrate is nothing but, as we all know, it is a special report that we receive in case of serious offences and a copy of FIR that we receive with regard to the other offences, and we make the endorsement on the FIR as to when we had received it, by whom we had received it, the time of the FIR, and of course then we give this copy of this FIR to the Elmer to make the entry in register number 15, that is the FIR register. So the only purpose of giving the or sending the FIR to the magistrate is only to apprise him that a FIR has been registered with regard to a cognizable. Now, after sending the report to the magistrate, it is a duty upon the officer in charge of the police station to either proceed in person or to depute any of his subordinate authorized officer to proceed at the spot to investigate the facts, and if necessary, and if it is necessary, to take measures for the arrest of the accused and also for the discovery of the facts. Now, if the officer in charge is of the view that the matter is not of a serious nature and the accused is known, the offender is known, and the matter is not of serious nature, so in that case he shall not proceed to the he's not bound to proceed to the spot or depute a authorized subordinate officer. rather he will not enter into the investigation. In that scenario, where he does not enter into the investigation, in that scenario, the officer in charge is bound to inform the magistrate, and he has to send the report to the magistrate as to why he is not complying with the procedure as laid down under section 157 subsection 1 CRPs, that is to proceed to the spot to make the necessary investigation to discover the fact. And also there is a right of the complainant. The officer in charge is bound to inform the complainant or the informant as to the fact that he will not investigate the case or cause it to be investigated. Now let's see let's understand that the investigation has been initiated. There were reasonable grounds. Investigation has been initiated. The matter was serious in nature, was enough serious in nature that the investigation has been initiated. Now the question is that whether there is any time limit for completion of investigation. Now, if we read the entire CRPC pertaining to the investigation, there is no specific or time limit which has been mandatorily specified with regard to the completion of investigation by the investigating agency. Even under section 173 subsection 1 CRPC, it mandates that every investigation under chapter 12, it shall be completed without any unnecessary delay. Further, right to bail under section 167 subsection 2 CRPC, right to default bail that I'm talking about, it is accrued to the accused in case of non-completion of investigation in 90 days where the investigation relates to an offence punishable with death, imprisonment for life or imprisonment of term not less than 10 years, and 60 days where the investigation relates to any other offence. But now in the case of Jasveer Singh versus State of Punjab, Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court observed that under section 167 subsection 5 CRPC, it empowers the magistrate to stop the investigation after the expiry of 6 months unless there are specific reasons or special reasons for permitting with the continuance of the investigation. Now, Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court has also relied upon I believe there was some technical glitch from our end. Okay. So now in the case of Jasveer Singh, Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court has referred to section 167 subsection 5 CRPC with regard to the power of the magistrate to stop the investigation in the summons case if it is beyond 6 months of period, unless there are specific reasons given by the investigating officer. And Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court has also relied upon section 468 subsection 2 small I small b, which provides a limitation of 1 year for taking cognizance of the offence for furnishing false information to the police, which is punishable under section 182 IPC, and which commences the limitation for which commences under section 469 CRPC from the date of offence. So Honorable High Court has categorically in that scenario held that the time limit is 6 months for completion of investigation in summons case, and the time limit is of 1 year for completion of investigation in warrants case. So yes, with the analogy given by Honorable High Court, there is a time limit for completion of investigation. Now, we have also seen in the courts that at times these applications are moved before us with regard to seeking the status report by the complainant as to what is happening in his FIR or what the police is doing, and we also seek status report from the police. Now, it gives us another question to be considered is that is there any obligation on the court for ensuring that the investigation conducted should be is in accordance with law. Now for that reliance was placed upon Amarnath Chaube, wherein it was held by Honorable Supreme Court again that the investigation is the and exclusive privilege and prerogative of the police, and it cannot be interfered with. But in case the police does not perform statutory duty or is remiss in the performance of its duty, and the court is satisfied from the material on record, court has a bounden constitutional obligation to ensure that the investigation is conducted in accordance with law, and any direction given by the court within the contours of the law, it cannot amount to the interference with the powers of the court. Now, even then, if it is considered that the investigation is not being conducted in due course of law by the investigating agency, and the investigating agency is not complying with the time limit or is not following the due procedure. So the next question that brings us to consider as to what are the remedies available for the complainant or the victim of crime during investigation. The Honorable High Court, while relying upon Sakiri Vasu case, observed that the complainant or victim is not remediless in case of deliberate inaction, unreasonable delay, failure to collect evidence, undue sympathy or shielding of the offender by the concerned police officers. Now, besides approaching the senior police officers and state government, the complainant of a crime has three options. He made three options, three remedies for the redressal. First is that he may apply to the court concerned empowered to take cognizance of the offence on police report for monitoring the investigation, who can issue appropriate direction for expeditious completion of the investigation. That is, if the complainant approaches the magistrate to take the action for the completion of investigation, for the expeditious completion of the investigation or conducting of the investigation, the magistrate can issue the appropriate directions. The complainant can also file a complaint under section 166A IPC against the investigating officer, for which, according to explanation to section 197 subsection 1 CRPC, no sanction is required. And the third remedy that the complainant has is that he can approach Honorable High Court for transfer of investigation to an independent agency, that investigating agency, maybe CBI for that matter. Now, we have also seen in our courts that at times when the complainant is totally clueless as to what is happening with his FIR, he files a complaint before the magistrate, and he expects the magistrate to take the cognizance of the offence on the complainant because he is really disappointed with the investigation which is being conducted in the FIR, or he really doesn't know as to what is happening in his FIR. So now the question that we have is that in such scenario, when such complaint is filed before the magistrate, when the investigation is pending in the FIR, now the question is whether the complaint can be filed and proceeded with during the period when the investigation by the police on FIR lodged regarding same offence, which is also the subject matter of the complaint, is pending. Now, in order to answer this question, I would like to take your attention to section 210 CRPC. Now, section 210 CRPC gives out the procedure to be followed when there is a complaint case and police investigation in respect of the same offence. Now, under section 210 subsection 1 CRPC, it says that where a case is instituted otherwise than in a report, that is maybe in the shape of a complaint, and it is made to appear to the magistrate during the court of inquiry or trial held by him, that an investigation by the police is in progress in relation to the offence which is the subject matter of the inquiry or trial held by him, the magistrate shall stay the proceedings of inquiry or trial of the complaint which was filed before him, and he shall call for a report, that is a status report, on the matter from the police officer who was conducting such investigation. Now, section 210 subsection 2 CRPC provides that where a report is made by the investigating police officer under section 173 CRPC, that is the final report after the completion of the investigation, and on such report, cognizance of any offence is taken by the magistrate against any person who is also an accused to in the complaint case, the magistrate shall inquire into or try together the complaint case and the case arising out of the final report, that is the police report under section 173 CRPC, as if both cases were instituted on a police report. And section 210 subsection 3 CRPC provides that if the police report does not relate to any accused in the complaint case, or if the magistrate does not take cognizance of any offence on the police report, he shall proceed with the inquiry or trial which was stayed by him in accordance with the provisions of CRPC. So now coming to the answer of the question that whether the complaint can be filed, the complaint can be filed, yes, but it cannot be proceeded during the period of investigation on the FIR lodged regarding the same offence, and the magistrate in that scenario shall stay the proceedings and call for the status report on the FIR. Now, after discussing about the first phase in which we have considered certain issues starting from the registration of FIR till the completion of the investigation, now the second phase would involve as to what are the powers and duty of the police during the course of investigation, or let's say after the completion of the investigation. So once the investigation is completed, it would be relevant to refer to these three provisions. One is section 169 CRPC, which provides for the release of the accused when evidence is deficient. Section 170 CRPC, which provides for the cases to be sent to the magistrate when evidence is sufficient. And of course, section 173 CRPC, which provides for report of police officer on completion of investigation. Now, how the report is to be how the report is to be given, what is the form of the report under section 173 CRPC? The form of the report, the final report, the form of the final report has been given under form 25.57 subsection subrule 2 under rule 25.57 for Punjab, and form 25.57 subrule 2 under rule 25.57 for Haryana in Punjab Police Manual Volume 3. Now coming first to section 169 CRPC. Now what will happen when the investigation is completed and the evidence is deficient with after the investigation against the accused? Now section 169 CRPC gives the remedy for that and gives the answer to that. It says that if upon an investigation it appears to the officer in charge of a police station that there is no sufficient evidence or reasonable ground of suspicion to justify the forwarding of the accused to the court or a magistrate, such officer is bound to release the accused under section 169 CRPC if he is in custody on his executing bonds with or without sureties. As such, the officer may direct to appear if and when so required before a court or magistrate empowered to take cognizance of an offence on a police report and to try the accused or commit him for a trial. So when the evidence is deficient, the officer in charge is bound to release the accused on or without surety. Now section 170 CRPC speaks as to what is to be done when the evidence is sufficient. Now where the evidence is sufficient, if upon an investigation it appears to the officer in charge of the police station that there is sufficient evidence or a reasonable ground of suspicion to justify the forwarding of the accused to a court or magistrate, such officer is bound under section 170 CRPC to forward the accused in under custody to a court or magistrate empowered to take cognizance of the offence upon a police report, and the accused is and to try the accused or commit him for trial, or if the offence is bailable and the accused is able to give security, to take security from him for his appearance before such court or magistrate on a day fixed for his attendance from day to day before such court or magistrate until otherwise directed. Now, where the investigation is completed, how this investigation is to be presented before the court, as I have apprised you that it has to be given in the shape of a final report. The form of the final report is given under Punjab and Haryana Punjab Police Manual. Now, Section 173 CRPC speaks that as soon as the investigation is completed, the officer in charge of the police station has to forward to the court or magistrate empowered to take cognizance of the offence on a police report, a report in the form prescribed by the state government, giving the requisite details and enclosing thereof the copy of the documents as required under Section 173 CRPC. Now, such report, such final report, it may be charge sheet or challan, where the evidence is, where there is sufficient evidence against the accused. Now, such final report, as I have told you, that it shall be prepared under in form 25.57 under Rule 25.57 of Punjab and Haryana. And apart from challan, cancellation report can also be filed. Untrace report can also be filed. So, cancellation report would be filed when there is no sufficient evidence against the accused or information is found to be false, and untrace report will be filed where there is sufficient against the evidence against the offender, but the offender is untraceable. Now, in some of the states, this cancellation as well as untrace reports, they are also known as summary reports. Now, if a cancellation or untrust report is being filed by the officer in charge of the police station, he has to make a note in the report that he believes that the investigation so conducted by him is correct, and it should be summarized together with the ground for such belief. Now, let's see, the investigation is complete, and neither the challan has been filed nor akhraj or cancellation akhraj or untrust report, Adampata report has been filed. Now, sitting as a magistrate or as a court, whether they have the power to call upon the police to submit a charge sheet. Now, answer to this question has been given by Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Abhinandan Jha and another. And now Honorable Supreme Court in this case had held that there is no expressly or impliedly power given to the magistrate to call upon the police to submit a charge sheet under Section 169 to submit a charge sheet, especially when a report has been sent under Section 169 CRPC that there is no such case made out against the accused. The magistrate cannot barge into the investigation, into the powers of the investigating agency to investigate the matter, and by compelling the investigating agency to change his opinion. But the magistrate in such scenario, when a report is filed about the cancellation of the case or of the untrace report if it is filed, but in such scenario, the magistrate is not under obligation to accept the report of the police if it does not agree with the opinion of the investigating agency, and he is empowered to take the cognizance of the offence under Section 190 subsection 1B of CRPC. So the magistrate no doubt has any power to call upon the police to submit a charge sheet, but within the contours of law he can exercise his powers under Section 190 subsection 1B CRPC. Now, another question that we have is that we have already discussed that the complaint, if filed, it cannot be proceeded into when the investigation is pending with regard to the FIR. But another question is now that once the cancellation report has been prepared and it is not filed before the court, now whether the complainant has the right to file a complaint with regard to the same offense against the same accused. The answer to that question can be found in the case of Ratan Chand versus Lachman Das, in which Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court had held that complaint can be filed by the first informant or complainant and proceeded with by the court or magistrate after cancellation report has been prepared but is not filed before the court or magistrate. Why the complaint can be filed? The complaint can be filed now because the investigation in the matter has been completed. So to answer to this question is yes, the complaint can be filed by the first informant or complainant after the cancellation report has been prepared but is not filed before the court, because now the investigation has already been completed. Now, another question that we have, which also comes within the purview of the investigating agency or investigating officer or officer in charge of the police station, as that whether the cancellation report or untraced reports can be filed by the police on the basis of compromise between the parties and can also be referred to Lok Adalat. Now, this question was also answered by Honorable the then Justice A.K. Tyagi in Mahalavya Goba case, wherein Honorable Justice had held that the officer in charge of the police station has the power to investigate cognizable offences and forward the accused to the court or magistrate if there is a sufficient evidence against the accused under section 170 CRPC, and discharge the accused from the custody if there is no sufficient evidence under section 169 CRPC, and file challan or charge sheet or cancellation or untraced report accordingly. Now, if that is the scenario, then the officer in charge of the police station, he cannot file the cancellation or untraced report based on the compromise between the parties, and he has to ask the parties to approach the Secretary District Legal Service Authority for placing the matter before Lok Adalat, or file the petition before Honorable High Court for quashing on the basis of the compromise, which will not only save the time but also it will save the energy of the investigating agency and the court and the other concerned persons. Now, let's say investigation is complete, challan has been filed, or let's say as the topic is the cancellation or untraced report has been filed, or has not been filed, it has been prepared and it has been approved also. Now the question is that the next question that we have is that whether the officer in charge of a police station is under obligation to communicate to the first informant or complainant the action taken by him. Now we have just come to know under section 157 that where the officer in charge does not proceed to the spot and or he also does not depute an authorized subordinate officer for the investigation of the case, he shall notify the informant of the same, and he shall also provide the informant with regard to the reasons as to why he is doing so. But now, after the completion of the investigation, whether it is a mandate upon the officer in charge of the police station to inform the first informant with regard to the action taken by him. Now, for that, under section 173 subsection 2 small 2 CRPC, it provides that officer in charge of the police station is bound. He is bound to communicate in such a manner as may be prescribed by the government the action taken by him to the person, if any, by whom the information relating to the commission of the offence was first given. So now, how that information is to be given to the first informant, how such information is to be given to the complainant by the officer in charge of the police station. That is described under Rule 25.757 for Punjab and Rule 25.57 for Haryana, Punjab Police Rules 1934, Volume 3. So, according to Rule 25.57, it is incumbent upon the officer in charge of the police station to inform the informant, if present, verbally of the result of the investigation, and after noting this fact in the final report, his signature or thumb marks shall be taken on it, which means that when the such challan or such cancellation or untraced report has been filed before the magistrate, it has to be checked whether the informant has been informed by the investigating agency with regard to the completion of the investigation and the status as to what has been done in the investigation or not. And Rule 25.57, it also further gives out that where the informant is not present, earlier we have done that what will be done if the informant is present, then how the information is to be given by the officer in charge of the police station to the informant. Now the second scenario is that where the informant is not present, in that case also the investigating officer, the officer in charge of the police station, he shall inform the first informant or the complainant in writing by postcard or by the delivery of the notice by hand, and this fact has to be stated down in the appropriate column in the final report under section 173 CRPC. So it also connotes that when the final report has been filed before the magistrate is required to check whether it is a challan or a cancellation report or an untraced report, that whether the officer in charge of a police station has informed the first informant or not with regard to the action taken by him. So it is a mandate upon the officer in charge according to the rules as well as under section 173 CRPC. Now, after let's say the information has been given to the first informant or the complainant. Now this cancellation or the untraced report has been filed before the court. Now now the issue is that what is the role of the court or the magistrate who is empowered to take cognizance of the offence upon the police report. Now it is to be seen as to what actions are required to be taken by the are required to be taken by the court when such cancellation report has been filed, where such untraced report has been filed by the police after the investigation. That would be our phase 3, and our role will come into play. Now, as we know that the moment the cancellation or untraced report has been filed before us, being the magistrate who are empowered to take the cognizance of an offence. Now the first issue that arises is that after the filing of such report, whether giving of the notice of filing of cancellation report to the first informant or complainant is mandatory or not. Now this issue was categorically taken up in the case of Bhagwan Singh versus Commissioner of Police, and it was categorically held by Honorable Supreme Court that where the magistrate to whom the report is forwarded decides not to take cognizance of the offence and to drop the proceedings, or takes the view that there is no sufficient ground for proceeding against some of the persons mentioned in the first information report, the magistrate must give notice to the informant and to provide him an opportunity to be heard at the time of the consideration of the report. So it is mandatory upon the court to issue notice to the informant or complainant with regard to the cancellation report or untraced report so filed before the court. Now, when we talk about the issuance of notice to the complainant or to the first informant, the foremost issue that has arisen before us is with regard to the service of the complainant, is with regard to the service of the first informant. Now, as I have told you in the previous slide, that one, it is mandatory upon the officer in charge of the police station to inform the complainant with regard to the status on the completion of investigation in the FIR. But now it is to be seen that whether it is mandatory upon the courts to issue notice to the complainant or first informant in case of untraced reports, or especially in case of untraced report. So now in this case of Jasveer Singh versus State of Haryana, it was categorically held by Honorable High Court that under certain scenarios this giving of the notice to the first informant is not mandatory. What are those certain scenarios? We shall be discussing them later. But where there is an issuance of notice to the complainant and to the first informant, and we have also seen that at times the service could not be effected, or there is some lackadaisical attitude on the part of the police officials with regard to the service of the notice. In that scenario, it was held in the case of Jasveer Singh only, that a criminal a complaint can be made against the erring official with regard to the non-service of the notice to the complainant or the or to the first informant under section 166 IPC, apart from giving information or apart from communicating to the superior officer in this regard. And also a departmental action can be taken against the erring official if there is a default on his part to issue the notice to the to serve the notice to the complainant. Now, where the notice has been a cancellation or untrust report has been filed before the court, and the court has also got the information that earlier also the investigating officer or officer in charge had earlier also issued the notice to the complainant before the filing of the final report. Now the question is that where the notice has already been issued to the informant or the complainant, and he has already been informed with regard to the status of investigation on his FIR, or with regard to the completion of the investigation in the FIR. Now, whether the court or magistrate delegate its function of issuing notice to the first informant or complainant to the police agency, which means that can the court or magistrate avoid whether the court or magistrate refuses or it does not issue the notice or not. So in this case of UPSC versus S. Papaya, it was categorically held by Honorable Supreme Court that the magistrate could not in any event delegate to the investigating agency its function of issuing notice. The issuance of notice by the magistrate to the informant at the time of the consideration of the final report is must. So even if the investigating agency had prior intimated the informant with regard to the status of the investigation on the completion of the investigation of his FIR, it is mandatory upon the court to issue the notice to the first informant. Now, we had the question earlier that is giving notice of filing of untraced report to the first informant or complainant is mandatory or not. So now in this case of Jasveer Singh versus State of Punjab, it was held by Honorable High Court that it may not be necessary. It may not be necessary to issue the notice to the first informant or complainant where the FIR is lodged against the unknown offender and the police is unable to discover and apprehend the offender. But in appropriate cases, although it is not mandatory in case of untraced report, but in appropriate cases, the court may, where it considers the hearing of the first informant or complainant, to that they may provide some information to the investigating officer or for further investigation. In that scenario, the court may issue notice to the first informant or complainant in such cases of untraced reports. So although it is not mandatory in case of untraced report to issue notice to the first informant, but in some cases where the court or magistrate considers it necessary to issue the notice for discovery of a fact, then in that scenario the notice can be issued. Now, the next question that the court is required to consider, that where there is a cancellation or untraced report is filed, in that case whether giving notice of cancellation or untraced report to the injured person or relative of the accused deceased is also required. Here I'm not talking about the first informant, here I'm not talking about the complainant, here I'm talking about giving notice to the injured person or relative of the deceased. Now in this case of Bhagwant Singh only, it was held by Honorable Supreme Court that an injured person or relative of the accused is not, who is not informant, is not entitled to any notice. However, if he appears, if the injured person or relative of the deceased, if he appears and he comes to know with regard to the report that a report is being considered by the magistrate, then and also that he wants to make a submission on that report, the injured person or relative of the deceased wants to make a submission with regard to that report. In that scenario, the magistrate is bound to hear him, but he is not the relative of the deceased or the injured person. He is not entitled to any notice from the court with regard to the filing of the cancellation or untraced report. Now, there arise certain conditions, when the cancellation report or the untraced report, how the cancellation report or untraced report are to be dealt in the absence of first informant or complainant. And then the second question would be that can the legal heirs of the complainant or first informant file subsequent complaint after the acceptance of cancellation or untraced report, and how to deal with such cases where the informant or complainant he has gone to abroad and his attendance cannot be procured without an amount of delay or expense. Now this question has also been elaborately dealt in the case of Jasveer Singh by Honorable High Court, wherein Honorable High Court, by answering the first two questions, held that where the first informant or the complainant is dead or cannot be found, or he has become incapable of giving evidence, the court or magistrate may accept the cancellation report without prejudice to subsequent filing of complaint by the legal heirs of the first informant or complainant where he is dead or had become incapable of giving evidence, or by the first informant or complainant where he cannot be found in respect of the same occurrence, offences and accused. So the answer to the question that whether the cancellation or untraced report may be accepted, yes, they may be accepted in the absence of the first informant or complainant, and yes, the legal heirs of the complainant or first informant can file subsequent complaint after the acceptance of cancellation or untraced report. Now, how to deal with such cases where the first informant or complainant, if he has gone to abroad and his attendance cannot be procured without an amount of delay or expense. So in just recent case only, Honorable High Court has held that under such circumstances, the court or magistrate may hear the informant or the complainant through video conferencing, or his attorney duly authorized to to appear in his behalf. So where the first informant or complainant, his presence cannot be procured by the court, then either he can be heard through video conferencing, or the case can be proceeded with the help of a duly authorized attorney. Now, these were the scenarios when the complainant or informant could not appear before the court due to unavoidable circumstances. Now, what action is to be taken by the court or magistrate when the complainant or first informant appears before the court? Now, the answer to that question has been given in the case of Gangadhar Janardhan Mahatre. Now, in this case, it was held by Honorable Supreme Court that where the report is forwarded by the police to the magistrate under Section 173 CRPC, several situations arise. Now, the situation number one would be that the final report conclude that an offence has been appeared to be committed by a person or a particular person. Now, where the report is filed that the offence has been committed, in such scenario, the magistrate may either accept the report and take cognizance of the offence and issue process, which we do, or he may disagree with the report and drop the proceedings, or he may direct further investigation under Section 156 subsection 3 CRPC and require the police to make a further report. Now, in the second scenario, when the report under Section 173 CRPC, it gives out that no offence has been committed by the accused, then in such case, the magistrate may either accept the report and drop the proceedings and take the view that there is sufficient ground for further proceedings, take of the offence. Should may also direct the investigation under Section 156 subsection 3. Report has been filed that the offence has been committed by the accused, or the report has been filed that no such offence has been found to have been committed by the accused. So in any of the offences, the magistrate is entitled upon the report of the police to take is entitled upon the receipt of a police report to take cognizance under Section 190 subsection 1B, even if the police even if the police has stated that no such offence has been made out against the accused, by using its independent mind as to what action is to be taken by the magistrate with the application independently of his mind can proceed with the case by using Section 190 subsection 1 subsection B. So the magistrate, in that scenario, how the magistrate will proceed if the magistrate does not agree with the police report, how the magistrate will proceed. In that scenario, the magistrate can take into account the statement of the witnesses examined by the police during the course of investigation, and he take the cognizance of the offence which was stated in the complaint and issue the process to the accused with the application of his mind independently to the facts arising from the investigation. So now it is to be taken into consideration that the magistrate is not bound to follow the procedure as laid down under Section 200 to 202 CRPC, which provides a procedure with regard to how the complaints are to be taken into consideration, how the complaints are to be dealt by the magistrate. So even without the filing of the protest petition, which is a normal course in our courts, like if there is a cancellation of untruth reports, we ask the complainant to file the protest petition. So even without following the procedure of asking the complainant to file the protest petition, the magistrate may issue the process if he disagrees with the report of the investigating agency, taking into consideration the allegations leveled in the complaint, the statement of the witnesses so recorded during the course of investigation, and other ancillary documents, and then he may issue the process against the accused. Now, where the cancellation report has been accepted. Now, the next question is that where the cancellation report has been accepted, can the court or the magistrate take into consideration fresh material after acceptance of the cancellation report? Now, in this case of State of Rajasthan versus Aruna Devi, it was held by Supreme Court that acceptance of cancellation report does not bar the magistrate from taking the cognizance if on further investigation a fresh material comes to light after the acceptance of the cancellation report. So yes, the magistrate can take into consideration the fresh material after acceptance of cancellation report as held in the case of Aruna Devi. Now, another question is that whether the court or magistrate can order investigation by Central Bureau of Investigation. Now, I believe it is a settled law as held in the case of CBI versus State of Rajasthan also that that only the constitutional courts, that are the Supreme Court and High, they can only order the investigation by Central Bureau of Investigation, but neither the special courts nor the magistrates are empowered to order investigation by the CBI. Another question that we have when we are discussing about the powers of the magistrates or the courts or with the actions which are to be taken by the courts or magistrates with regard to the cancellation or untrust reports is that whether the court or magistrate can order in re-investigation or fresh investigation of the cases by the police. Now, in Sasi Thomas and Vinubhai Haribhai case, it was held that the fresh investigation can only be ordered, or re-investigation can only be ordered by High Court, and no other court, either the special courts or the Court of Magistrates, have the power to order re-investigation or fresh investigation in such cases. Now, we have done the scenario where the cancellation reports had been prepared and they have not been filed by the complainant. They have not been filed by the investigating agency. And before that, we have also done the scenario that whether a complaint can be proceeded when there was an investigation on the FIR containing the same allegation, say against the same accused, whether such complaint can be proceeded with. Now, the third scenario is that whether the first informant or complainant can file the complaint regarding the same occurrence after the filing of cancellation report by the police and its acceptance by the magistrate. Now, in the plethora of cases, starting from Gopal Vijay Verma case to Rameshwar Dayal, to the case of Rameshwar Dayal, it was categorically held by the courts that the first informant or the complainant can file complaint in respect of the same offence against the same person arising out of the same transaction forming subject matter of the FIR lodged by him earlier after filing the report by the police and acceptance of that cancellation report by the courts. Now, the acceptance of any cancellation or cancellation report by the court or a magistrate, it will be without the prejudice to the rights of the first informant or complainant to the filing of the complaint and taking of the cognizance by the court on the basis thereof. And there is one more advantage once the cancellation report has been filed and accepted by the court, and subsequent to that the complaint has been filed. The advantage is that in that scenario, when the cancellation report is accepted by the court, it will also enable the police to treat such matter of cancellation report to have been disposed of. So yes, the answer to the question is that yes, the first informant or complainant can file a complaint without prejudice to his rights regarding the same occurrence after the filing of the cancellation report by the police and its acceptance by the magistrate. Now, we have spoken that there has to be a time limit with regard to the completion of investigation as to within which time frame the investigation is to be completed in case of summons case and in case of warrants case. Now the question is that for the courts also, is there any requirement of law for filing of cancellation or interest report by the police and disposal thereof by the court or magistrate within a reasonable time? So if we talk in a very simpler manner, is there any time limit for a magistrate to dispose of the cancellation or interest report? Now, in the case of Jasveer Singh only, this fact was elaborately discussed by Honorable High Court, and it was observed that since delay in filing and disposal of cancellation or untraced report involves wrongful denial or the right of the first complainant to access justice, it may also cause unreasonable inconvenience or loss to the accused. The police as well as the court, they have to ensure that there is no undue or unreasonable delay in filing as well as in the disposal of such untraced or cancellation report. So now we are talking about inconvenience to the accused and delay in access of justice to the complainant. So when we talk about inconvenience to the accused, what inconvenience to the accused are we talking about when we talk that there is that in case that untraced or cancellation reports are to be disposed of within reasonable time? So now suppose if there is a cancellation report where no offense has been found against the accused to have been committed by him, in that case, if the filing or the acceptance of cancellation report, if there is a delay, then there would be a delay in filing a complaint under section 182 IPC. 182 IPC we also know is false information with intent to cause public servant to use his lawful power to the injury of another person. So if it was a vexatious complaint, it was with a malicious intent, if such complaint was filed and later on it was found that no offense was committed against the complainant by the said accused, then the accused would be losing the time with regard to lodging his grievance by filing the complaint under section 182 IPC. So yes, it will cause inconvenience to the accused. And now what inconvenience is going to be caused to the complainant in case there's a delay in filing of the cancellation report or disposal of the cancellation report? Now this question has also been answered by Honorable High Court, and it was observed rather that the complainant cannot proceed with the complaint. He cannot proceed with the complaint during the pendency of the till the preparation of the cancellation or untrust report of or challan or charge sheet. So that's the failure of justice on the part of the complainant, that he will not be able to have access to justice if there is a unreasonable delay in filing of the cancellation reports, unreasonable delay in the disposal of such cancellation report. Of course, then he cannot proceed with his complaint. Now, another question, practical issue that has been faced is that whether the cancellation or untrust reports can be referred to Lok Adalat by the court or magistrate. Now, again, the answer was given by Honorable High Court in the case of now the question is that whether the cancellation or untrust reports can be referred to Lok Adalat by the court or magistrate. Now, in the case of Jasveer Singh only, by placing reliance upon Nirbhay Singh versus State of Punjab, 2004, Volume 2, RCR Criminal A21, it was held by Honorable High Court that the cancellation or untraced reports, it cannot be referred to Lok Adalat. They cannot be referred to Lok Adalat as there can be no amicable settlement between the opposing parties, either on their behalf, either on their own or on their behalf, or on the persuasion of the Lok Adalat at the stage of cancellation or untrust reports, for which the presence of the first informant or the complainant is required, and it cannot be effected in the absence of the complainant. But the disposal of such cancellation report can be effected. The disposal of such cancellation reports can be effected, which are based on compromise between the parties in compoundable or compounded cases. They can be a part of special drives for disposal in Lok Adalat, but as a general rule, such cases which are not compoundable or in which the complainant is absent, the cancellation or untrust reports, they cannot be disposed of or they cannot be referred to Lok Adalat. Now, this is a very material question as to what is to be done with regard to the untraced or cancellation report, as to how these reports are to be consigned to the record room after their disposal. Now, the first question is that whether the record of cancellation or untrust report is to be consigned to judicial record room or police or vernacular record room. So now, as Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court in its judgment had observed that largely the cancellation or untrust reports, once they are disposed of, they are being not consigned to judicial record room, but they were now being consigned to police or vernacular record room. So whether this is a right approach, and if not, what is the right approach? So this is the first time in this judgment, this is the first time when Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court had clarified on this part as to what is to be done with regard to such reports. Now, as a rule, whether it is a cancellation report or untraced report or a challan, they are the final reports. They are final reports under section 173 CRPC, and they are filed before the magistrates or court concerned having the jurisdiction, and they are filed in the same manner as a challan is filed before the magistrate. So how do we dispose of, how do we consign a challan, a case having a challan? How do we consign the challan? We consign the challan in the judicial record room. So Honorable High Court has held that in case of cancellation or untraced reports on conclusion of proceedings, the record with regard to these reports, they also have to be consigned to the judicial record room. Cancellation or untraced reports, the records pertaining to them, they are to be consigned into the judicial record room, and not to the police or vernacular room. The cancellation or untraced report are to be consigned in the same manner as a record pertaining to the challan is to be consigned. So the answer to the question is that the cancellation or untraced report record, they are to be consigned to judicial record room and not to the police or vernacular record room. But now in certain cases of untraced report, where the investigation gets a revival, or information is received with regard to the offender who could not be found earlier when the untraced report was filed. In that scenario, how such untraced report, the record pertaining to such untraced reports are to be consigned. So it was clarified by Honorable High Court that in cases of untraced reports in which the case is not closed and is revived on further information regarding identity of the offender, and cases of cancellation reports where further investigation is ordered. Now, how such cases are to be consigned? Such reports, along with certified copies of the original documents, such reports along with the original copies, certified copies of the original documents filed by the police along with the original orders passed by the court, notices issued by the court, report on the same be consigned to the record room. So now what is to be consigned to the record room in certain cancellation or untraced report? You may note down that the report, the original report, the certified copies of the original document, original notices issued by the court, original order passed by the court, these are to be consigned in the record room. These are to be consigned in the judicial record room, where the investigation is not closed in case of where the case is not closed in case of untraced report, or where the further investigation is ordered under in the case of cancellation report. But and what is to be given to the police official? Of course, we have seen that why the original record pertaining to cancellation or untraced report is consigned to the police record room, because they want the original the original documents for the purpose of investigation as and when they receive the information. So in that scenario, it was also held by the Honorable High Court that in that scenario, the copy of cancellation report or untraced report, the certified copies of orders passed, notices issued by the court, and the reports on the same, along with the original documents filed by the police, be given to the officer in charge of the police station against his written acknowledgement. So what documents are to be given? The certified copy of the cancellation or untraced report, the certified copy of the orders, the certified copies of the notices, along with the original documents, they are to be given to the police against the written acknowledgement of the same. But what documents are to be consigned to the record room? The documents that are to be consigned to the record room are the original cancellation or untraced report, original notices, original orders, and certified copy of the original document. And that will also happen in two cases: when the untraced report is where in the case of untraced report the case is not closed and further identity of the accused is revealed, there are chances of revelation of further identity. And in case of cancellation report, further investigation has been ordered. In that scenario, this is how the reports are to be consigned into the judicial record room as well as in the vernacular record room. Now, as we had started, I had shared this, data with you with regard to the current pendency of the cancellation or final reports across Punjab, Haryana, and UT Chandigarh. So, taking into the totality of the situation, Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court exercised its power under Section 482 CRPC, and they issued certain directions for police agencies. They issued directions for the magistrates and the courts. They issued the directions for the learned session judges, and those directions are very important for us to know. As to now, how the cancellation reports and untraced reports are to be dealt by the police, by the courts, and also how they are to be monitored by the learned session judges. So for the police, the Director General of the Police, Punjab, Haryana, and UT Chandigarh, they were directed to issue instructions to all the commissioners of police or senior superintendents of police of the district or police district in the state of Punjab, Haryana, and UT Chandigarh to ensure that they prepare a list and submit the list of the cases within 1 month of the cases in which investigation is pending for more than 1 year, cases in which cancellation or untraced reports are to be prepared, cases in which cancellation or untraced reports have been prepared but they are pending for the approval of the superior police officers, and cancellation or untraced reports has been prepared, have been approved by superior police officers, but they are yet to be filed before the courts or the magistrates. So a list is to be prepared by the superintendent of police with regard to these four category of cases. Now, after with the preparation of the list, the police agency is also directed to take effective steps. They are directed to take effective steps for completion of investigation in cases where investigation is pending for more than 1 year, within 6 months in summons case, and within 1 year in case of warrant cases from the date of the receipt of the order, this order of 11th August 2021, as far as possible, and status reports are to be filed before the concerned courts as well as the magistrate with regard to such cases, as to what is being done in such cases where the investigation in summons case and in warrants case are pending for more than 1 year. Also, directions have been issued that all cancellation or untraced reports already approved by the superior police officers, they are to be filed before the courts or magistrates concerned within 1 month from the date of the order, and thereafter within 1 month from the date of approval by the superior police officers. Another direction was passed that in all cancellation reports or untraced reports pending for approval, all cancellation or untraced reports pending for approval before superior police officers, the question of approval. Now the duty has been casted upon these superior police officers that the question of approval is decided by the superior police officer within 3 months. Within 3 months from the date of the order, and thereafter within 3 months from the date of submission of cancellation or untraced reports, and thereafter once the cancellation or untraced reports are approved by the superior police officers, then they are to be filed before the courts or the magistrates within 1 month from the date of the approval by the superior officer. So now a time limit has been given to the superior officers to approve with the report, the cancellation or untraced report, and further a time limit of 1 month has been given on to the officers, to the police agency to file such reports before the court, and that time period is 1 month. Now, another direction was passed, taking into consideration the right of the complainant, that the information regarding filing of cancellation or untraced report is to be given to the first informant or complainant before or immediately after filing of the same before the court concerned in the form prescribed by the state government, and if no such form has been prescribed by the state government, then by supplying a copy of the cancellation and or untraced report. So as we have done, as we have studied also, we have seen in the previous slide also that there is a format, it's a bounding duty on the officer in charge of the police station to inform the first informant verbally, and if the informant is not present, by postcard or by serving the notice upon him with regard to the status in the investigation so conducted by the officer in charge on the FIR, and make a note of it. So this direction is in consonance of that rule which I had referred earlier, that officer in charge is bound to inform the informant with regard to the status of the investigation so conducted on his FIR. Now, Honorable High Court was very well aware of the fact that there is a pendency of that there is going to be a huge pendency of cancellation or untraced reports before the court, and such cases would be lingering on mainly on account of non-service of the complainant or the informant. For that, looking into that scenario, Honorable High Court also issued the direction to the Director General of Police to create a dedicated cell for service of such notice and appointing nodal officer for supervising the same in each police district or police district. And as we had earlier known that in case there is a default on the part of the erring official with regard to the non-service of the complainant without any reasonable excuse or without any reasonable explanation, then an action can be taken by the magistrate under section 166 IPC against the erring official, apart from filing a complaint apart from reporting the matter to the superior officers, and of course departmental inquiry can also be initiated against the erring official. So there was a direction with regard to the constitution of a special dedicated cell for the service of the first informant or the complainant. Now it is to be seen that as to what are the directions which were passed to the courts or magistrates as to how the cancellation reports and the untraced reports are to be dealt. So all the magistrates as well as the courts across Punjab, Haryana and UT Chandigarh, they were directed to ensure that where the investigation is pending for more than 1 year, they are to be monitored by seeking periodical reports every quarter. Now it is an incumbent duty upon you that you will seek the periodical reports every quarter, and also you can pass appropriate orders as warranted by the facts and circumstances of the case, and also the status reports are to be submitted before you. Further, when there is a cancellation or untrust report presented by the officer in charge of the police station, they are to be received by the magistrate, they are to be filed before the magistrate, they are to be registered by the magistrate in CIS immediately without any delay. So we cannot return the cancellation or untraced reports, they are to be registered without imposing any condition at the time of filing or registering the reports. Also, it is incumbent, it is a mandate upon the magistrate to issue notice to the first informant or complainant for service through the police process serving agency, and in case of default on the part of the concerned police officer or official in effecting the service of the notice without any lawful excuse, appropriate action can be taken against the default officer or official. And now when the first informant or complainant, if he appears before the magistrate, the cancellation report or the untrust report, they are to be disposed of or dealt with in accordance with law, as we had discussed by quoting Gangadhar and Janardhan authority. And but in circumstances where the informant or complainant is dead or he is incapable of giving evidence or he cannot be found, the cancellation report is to be accepted without prejudice to the filing of complaint subsequently by the legal heirs of the first informant or the complainant where he is dead or has become incapable of giving evidence, or by the first informant complainant in respect of the same occurrence, offense and the accused. So under certain circumstances, the reports can be accepted, and it will not cause any prejudice to the filing of the of another complaint, of a new complaint by the legal heirs of the complainant under certain circumstances. Another direction given was that where the first informant of the complainant has gone abroad or his attendance cannot be procured without any amount of delay or expense, or under certain circumstances it appears to the court to be unreasonable, the cancellation report is to be disposed of by hearing the first informant or complainant through video conferencing or attorney duly authorized in this behalf. And now a time limit has been given to the magistrates or the courts to dispose of the cancellation or untraced reports already pending before them within 6 months as far as possible from the date of the receipt of the order, and cancellation or untraced reports filed subsequent to the passing of this order, they are to be disposed of expeditiously, preferably within 6 months as far as possible from the date of the institution. So now we have to dispose of the cancellation reports or untraced reports within 6 months of the filing of the 6 months within their filing. Now, where the cancellation or untraced reports, if they cannot be disposed of within the period of 6 months, due to reasons beyond the control, a statement besides monthly statement which is submitted now is submitted at the end of the 6 months to Honorable Punjab and Haryana High Court. Now a statement has to be submitted by the magistrates along with the reasons as to why the case could not be disposed of within the period of 6 months, while mentioning what further period is likely to be taken in disposal of the case. So now with the monthly statement that we furnished before the High Court to the High Court, now this statement, additional statement is to be given that why the cases have not been disposed of within 6 months and how much time that can be taken, that may be taken for the disposal of such cases. Now, as we have already discussed that how the cancellation report or untrust reports are to be consigned, how their record are to be consigned. It was the directions were issued that the cancellation report is where the cancellation report is accepted. The entire record be consigned to the judicial record room. Where the cancellation report is rejected in view of the protest petition or complaint filed by the first informant or complainant, and cognizance is taken on the basis of the material with police report or preliminary evidence produced by the first informant or complainant, the entire record, the entire cancellation report record, they are to be attached with the record of the protest petition or the complainant, and they are to be consigned to the record room or judicial record room on final decision. Now, in case of cancellation report where further investigation is ordered, and in cases of untraced report which have to be revived on further information regarding the identity of the offender, cancellation or untraced reports along with certified copies of original documents filed by the police, along with the original orders passed, notices issued by the court, reports on the same be consigned to the judicial record room, and copies of cancellation or untrust reports and certified copies of the orders passed, notices issued by the court, and reports on the same along with original documents filed by the police be given to the officer investigating officer or officer in charge of the police station against the written acknowledgement. That we have already discussed as to what is to be done in case of cancellation reports where further investigation is ordered, or in case of untraced reports where they can be revived and further information with regard to the identity of the accused. Similarly, directions were also issued for learned session judges. So all the concerned session judges were directed to ensure that the statistical information regarding pendency, institution, and disposal of cancellation or untrust report is complied in complied form is placed in the meetings with judicial officers, and meeting of monitoring committee comprising of district and session judges, the deputy commissioner, the commissioner or senior superintendent of police, and district attorney, and appropriate instructions be given to the concern for expeditious filing and disposal of the cancellation or untraced reports. Now, with the end of this presentation, as Benjamin Disraeli said, and I quote, that justice is truth in action. So, unquote, it is hoped that every endeavor would be made by the present audience, by the administration of criminal justice system, to see that justice is not only done, but it is seen to be done. So this would be my presentation with regard to the cancellation and untraced report. And I could see that I have received lots of questions. So looking at the time, I think I'll be able to answer a few of them. So one is that and this question had just before the beginning of this the presentation, this question had come up that untraced report is required to be sent to quarter concerned or be consigned to record room. So I think we have discussed the scenarios as to when the untraced report is to be consigned to record room, and when it is to be and how it is to be consigned to judicial record room and police record room. So I think the instructions are very well cleared. Then we have a question that if cancellation report is filed and when notice to complainant is issued, it is reported that the complainant has either died or has permanently gone abroad. Then how to proceed with such cancellation or untraced report. So, we have discussed that scenario when the complainant has died. In that scenario, the cancellation report can be accepted, and however, it is not subject to the rights of the legal heirs to subsequently filed a protest petition or a complaint with regard to the same offense with regard to against the same accused. So it can be accepted under certain circumstances. It has been very clearly laid down in Jasbir Singh case, and where the accused has gone abroad, permanently gone abroad. In that scenario, as it's been cleared by Honorable High Court only, that he can be heard through video conferencing, or a duly authorized counsel on his behalf can make a submission before the court with regard to the status of the cancellation report. What if Mr. Vikas Verma, he has asked, what if the accused is already on bail and an application is forwarded by APP for discharge of that accused from the case itself? Under section 169, can the accused be released from case? Well, I think this is not within the purview of section 173 CRPC that we are discussing. That is only with regard to the procedural aspects on cancellation untraced report. I think we shall be, another session would be required to answer this question. If the complainant is not appearing in a case filed by him, whether warrants can be issued against him. We all know that exercising this power of issuing warrants, it's a very powerful mechanism. So if the complainant is not appearing before the court, what could be the reason as to why he's not been appearing, whether he's not been served or for any other reason that why he's not appearing. So if he's not been served properly, then of course he has to be served on his correct address and whatever the procedure is. But yes, if it is required, there is no bar under chapter 5. There's no bar under chapter 5 that we cannot issue the warrant for the appearance of the complainant, and it all depends upon the facts and circumstances of the case as to how such case is to be dealt, how the appearance of the accused of the complainant is to be procured. Ma'am, if a cancellation is filed on the basis of compromise and the complainant appears before the court and makes a statement that he is satisfied with the report, then what is the magistrate supposed to do? Well, it depends what kind of case, in what was the nature of the case in which the cancellation, in which the compromise was effected and the cancellation report has been filed. So if it is a compoundable case with the with the permission of the court under section 320 or otherwise also, then of course the cancellation report can be accepted. But if it is and also as it is held in Jasbir Singh and while relying upon Nirbhay Singh case, that in a compoundable cases the matter can also be referred to Lok Adalat. But where the matter is not compoundable and if the allegation that the offence is of a very serious nature, then the courts cannot accept the cancellation report, and the appropriate remedy for the person is to approach for the parties is to approach the High Court to and exercise whatever option it is there for the in the High Court to be exercised. I think I have already covered this question. What if cancellation report filed in court and complaint or first informant wants to file a complaint in a court in the same case after cancellation? Yes, even the complainant can file the complaint after the cancellation report is accepted. And not only that, even after the completion of investigation, once the cancellation report is prepared and it has not been approved by the superior police officers, nor it has been filed before the court, even then also the complaint can be filed and proceeded with by the complainant in the court with regard to the same offence. In which case notice to first informant is not required in untraced report. Well, we have already this aspect has already been covered in this recent case that under what circumstances first informant is not required the notice and untraced report. Let me see if I can. I think there are certain circumstances as given that under what circumstances the final report, the notice is not to be issued to the complainant. Let me see if I'll find out and I'll let you know for that. Can the court keep pending complaint case if on same occurrence investigation is pending? Yes, under section 210 subsection 1 CRPC, the court has to stay the proceedings in the inquiry or the trial with regard to the complaint with respect to the same offence against the same accused when the investigation is pending, and the court has to seek the status report from the investigating agency about the status of the investigation in the FIR. Then we have a question. Let's see. Kindly elaborate the procedure in case the cancellation or untraced report is rejected, cognizance taken, and accused summoned. Who is to file the list of witnesses? That is whether by APP or complainant or counsel or etc. Well, the list of where the cancellation or untraced report is rejected and the cognizance is taken on the police report itself, then I think the list of witnesses is already there with the cancellation report, and you can always ask the you can always rely upon the statements under section 161 CRPC. With regard to the witnesses which are to be summoned before the court for the preliminary inquiry, and who is to perform the part of the prosecution. And this is a very tricky question as to who is to perform the part of the prosecution, and I'm really not sure about it as to whether it is by the APP or by the complainant. So I really have to check on it, and then I'll revert to you maybe whenever the next session I take up. That who is to take part, who has to perform the part of the prosecution as to whether by prosecution agency or by the complainant. I'll check on it, and then I'll make I'll definitely make a note of it and inform you. So I think these are the relevant. There was another question that I received. Can a magistrate accept the cancellation report in session tribal case like section 302 IPC? Yes, if there is a cancellation report on cognizable on section 302 IPC, then yes. If the circumstances warrant, then yes, the such cancellation report can be accepted. Or there are another 2-3 options that I had discussed in Gangadharan case that they can be opted for, that protest petition can be filed or the cognizance can be taken without accepting the police report and the notice to the witnesses be issued. So yes, the cancellation report can be accepted. And I think it should now, that should be the end of our webinar. And now, as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle had said that it is every business to see that justice is done. And I believe that with this, with the judgment by Honorable High Court in the case of Jasveer Singh, and with this presentation, we all will see that justice is going to be done, is not only seen, but it is seen to be done. And thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you very much for the audience. And whatever question that we are left with, I shall be taking up that questions and shall be making a note of it and shall be posting you with it. And as usual, this presentation would be available on our YouTube channel, and as and when wherever you require, you can always switch to the, you can always see watch this presentation. And all the entire scenario with regard to the cancellation or untrust report, they've been covered in Jasveer Singh Authority. So kindly have that authority as ready reference. And with that, thank you very much for your presence. And I hope to see you again with the next webinar on another topic. Till then, have a great weekend. Namaskar.